Do you think too many people are following fad diets these days? So tell us your opinion on keto dieting, intermittent fasting, carb backloading, all these things. What do you think, John?
Fucking hell, where do we start? The basics never fail. They never failed old school. They never failed in the 90s. We didn't have that. And as we were saying, the 90s were a better era to me than what it is. All it is the magazines have got to sell. And people want to come along and sound clever, and this is this and this is that. I'm not saying that there can't be breakthrough things and this, that and the other, but for 20 years I improved, and by just keeping consistent with my training, consistent with my eating, and there were no frigging secrets. There was no magic formulation or drug formulation that was doing everything else for me. You know what I mean? It was. I'm old school. Forgive me, I'm old school, and I'm not gonna apologise for that. So if you want a carb backload, stand on your fucking head and do whatever. Do you know what I mean? And do all these high fat, low carb shit. I'm sorry, but carbohydrates are a predominant fucking source of energy required for glycogen replenishment, which is your main source of fuel if you're training properly and hard. So no, you know what I mean? I'm old school. Forgive me. I have my opinion on that. A lot of people won't agree with me, but fuck you.
Okay, what's your proudest moment, career-wise? Was it stepping on the Olympia stage?
I think winning the Britain and turning pro was definitely the proudest moment. I think doing the Olympia was a bit of disappointment. Yeah, it was just a bit of an anticlimax. It wasn't quite.
Maybe in your head it was more.
Yeah, and you know, obviously I don't know. It's just a bit.
Did you expect to feel something that you didn't?
Yeah, I suppose it did, and it just didn't quite materialise. I think when I come second to James Lewis, I mean that was a big high for me, because I was under no illusions. I thought if he comes in on the money, you know, he's the man to be. If he was off, I knew I was capable of beating him. And even Neil Hill said that to me when he came to my house about 3 or 4 weeks out from that, and he went, bloody hell. He said, it's between you and Flex, I'm telling you that now. And he's like looking at me. And he's obviously advising Flex, so he said, you better get your shit together because John Hodgson's ready. And he's looking the best of everything. I'm thinking, shit, I'm giving too much away. But I was very happy with that. And, you know, I knew I'd done my homework. And I think about doing the British Grand Prix as well, I really enjoyed my preparation. And I wasn't the dick that I'd been all them years. You know what I mean? I'd finally mastered. I think I learned a lot in that last preparation to help other people as well. And I think, you know, it's just being at ease with yourself is the key.
Do you mean not letting your head run away?
Yeah, just relax. If you train hard, do your cardio and eat clean. What? You're not going to get in shape. Don't panic about it. This is an older wise man saying the story. Now. We're the same as what I was like 15, 20 years ago.
So tell us a bit about HIIT Nutrition.
HIIT Nutrition. Basically, I wanted to bring out a product, and really we should have been talking 2 years ago. It took a while for me to bring out the formulation. When I was getting ready for my shows in the latter years, I was using a branched chain amino formula with glutamine, and I was using that in high doses, and especially for the British Grand Prix as well. And I certainly believe that was helping me recover as well. And that's not a sales gimmick, it's a fact. Yeah. I was definitely seeing major improvements in recovery. The poundages I was lifting in the gym, I was using the same poundages as what was in the off-season a week out. The training power was like, what's going on here? This isn't right. And I do attribute it to the fact that I got everything right. But I do think that definitely, without doubt, the branch out, which you can see in front of you, is the formulation, with an addition of HICA, the leucic acid in there, you know, hydroxycaproic acid, a bit of a gobful. But that, again, is an ingredient that really helps with recovery, and, you know, and it certainly will have a major benefit to anybody who's involved in whether it's bodybuilding or intense exercise and stuff like that. So HIIT Nutrition, I picked the name HIIT Nutrition because I've always used the methods of high intensity training. Yeah. Like as Dorian Yates. I'd always trained like that before I even knew what it was like, because for me, logically, if I give everything I've got into one set, there's no way I'm going to go back and try and do it again. It just, you know, and so unbeknownst to me, I was always training in that kind of manner. I was never a volume trainer on, and, you know, set after set after set. And so the name HIIT Nutrition was formed. But the other angle is, and what I'm known for, is my brutality for telling the truth and being honest. So the other strapline to HIIT nutrition is honesty, integrity, and truth. And for me, the supplement industry, if I'm being honest with you, is a complete joke. You've got that many companies out there. I remember walking around I think it was the Arnold Classic with Kerry Kayes one year, and Kerry looked around and he turned to me and just went, "It's a fucking joke, this, John. It's like a circus. Every company's selling this, that, and the other. And let's be honest about it. You know, this supplement's going to do this to you. This supplement's going to do that to you. They're endorsed by athletes that are using other things, shall we say? You know what I mean? Everyone claims to be this, and you know what? It's all a crap. It's just a money-making machine. You know, if people say to me, well, what products do you recommend? Get yourself a decent protein powder. Make sure you have a good recovery formula, you know, for after you've worked out. I do believe in a good high-strength branched-chain amino acid. Definitely buy this one. It is what it's on the tin. Because the thing is, if I bring some out, I will not sell it, you know, just for the sake of a gimmick. And so that's why I'm starting off with one product. And to me, that's all you need. You can go on, I mean, okay, if you want to use a bit of creatine, fair enough and all that. You know, but where do you start and stop? If you've got a good quality diet in place, you've got your bases covered.
Just to add to that, I can definitely vouch for that, because I've been using your product for ages, and I noticed that I'm nowhere near as sore as I used to be.
You won't be.
I feel I can train as hard, you know, as possible, and then just recover.
The guys who are not even competing in the gym who've been using it have been saying, "God, I feel a difference the way in which I recover in that." It is. It's a bloody good product, and I'm very proud of it. And it tastes great as well. Mixes easy, so you know it does exactly what it's supposed to do.
Last couple of questions.
Okay. So, did you always want to own a gym? Obviously, we're here in Evolution Gym, and how did you meet and decide to team up with Paul Booth, your partner?
I always wanted to own a gym. Funnily enough, when I was in the Air Force, I wrote a letter back to one of my best mates, Paul Clark, and he showed me the letter about 12 months ago, I think it was. And in it there, I said, I'm pissed off. I want to get out of the Air Force. This isn't the life for me. I'd love to have my own gym. And that was back in like late, you know, mid 1989. So even though, because I was training whilst I was out there, I was in the fray, even though I lost my way a bit when I came out of it for say 18 months, I always knew deep down probably where my passion lied. So yeah, I've always wanted a gym. And how it was born, Evolution, was I was doing the Night of the Champions. I think it was the New York Pro Show. It changed the name in 2006. And Paul Booth came out to support me. And I remember looking out at the Hilton Hotel, overlooking Ground Zero, you know, which was all being just levelled off and built and that. And I'm stood there, starbollock naked. Paul laughs at that. He said, "You just used to walk around naked," like that. You know. And I just looking out like that, and I remember looking down on the ground. I just went, "I want my own gym, Paul." I said, "You know, I've been working for CMP all these times, but I said I want to be my own boss. I want to be in charge of my own destiny." And I said, "Would you be interested?" And he went, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yeah, I don't want to do a shitty little gym. I want to do a proper American style gym. We're in America. You see the gyms what are out here. They're awesome." I said, "Let's get a gym, but let's do it properly. A big gym." And that's how the idea was born. So looking out of Hilton Hotel, over Ground Zero. Naked. And Paul's like that, going like that. Yeah, whatever. No, but you know what I mean? And that's where the idea was born.
So how long did it take from the idea to setting the gym up? Was it on
2 years.
2 years? That's it.
No. 2 years. We actually opened up, I left CMP in February 2008 and the gym opened up in May, back end of May, early June 2008. And it's the dog's balance.
Best gym around here.
I put this as one of the best gyms in Britain, without a doubt. It's not your spit and sawdust, it's not your corporate entity, it's smack bang in the middle. It's a proper American gym that caters for everyone's need, from the advanced obviously for us and to anybody who just wants to train and just enjoy getting fit.
Yeah, it's got everything you need, hasn't it?
So, everything.
Yeah, to be honest, there are certain body parts which I literally wouldn't train anywhere else.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. We invested in the hammer strength and the life fitness, you know, so we know that, you know, when you do a workout, the machines are designed to, shall we say, help assist the body part that you're training, not, you know, aggravate your joints.
You top 3 bodybuilders of all time, your 3 favourites, if you can do that. Whether that's, you know, people you've looked up to or just people with the best physiques or whatever it is.
Top three. Oh, God. How did you do this to me? My top one, without fail, the greatest Mr. Olympia of all time. Most consistent, the guy who wiped his own ass, did everything methodical, kept himself to himself, turned up, nailed it, fuck you, I'm off home champion, was Dorian Yates. There's no one, and I don't care who you are, can say anything other than that. You know, and that's why he has my utmost admiration. He was consistent. No one came in as dry and as hard. And anybody who's a true connoisseur of bodybuilding and really understands what bodybuilding is about I don't believe can really argue with that. I mean, Ronnie obviously had that super size thing, but there were various body parts on Ronnie Coleman that were weak. His calves, you look at Dorian's calves, they were freaking immense. Ronnie had weak calves. You know, if you looked at Dorian Yates's triceps, Ronnie's triceps for me weren't brilliant. Okay, you could say his biceps overcompensate that. His midsection. For me, I think Dorian was actually not given the praise for his. He was more complete and symmetrical than people realised. You know, and for me, he stands head and shoulders above the rest. He was just so precise and methodical. He had 10 alcoholic drinks during his entire career. You know, he was so precise, and you had to go off to someone like that. That's why he was there, and it was a case of I'm turning up, and the rest knew they were just vying for second and third and fourth.
What do you think was his best year in the Olympic?
His best year, probably 95. I mean, they all went on about 93. I think 92 he looked brilliant as well. He was about 242, and he was shredded and ultra. I mean, 92... he was sliced and diced and dry. Yeah, he might have said he lost a bit of muscle, but he looked immense. Granite hard, and the detail from every conceivable angle, I don't think it's been matched like that. No Mr. Olympia's ever looked like that from top to bottom, for me. You know, so I think, that and 95, Dorian's best year. Second and third, I quite like Phil Heath. I think Phil Heath's is an exceptional physique. There's an argument for him there. You know what I mean? He's beautifully put together, great condition, flows, nice rounding muscle belly. So I'd probably go with Phil Heath there. And my third favourite's got to be Lee Labrada, I suppose, because he was my height, and he wasn't massive, but he was just pure class. And when it come to posing, he was in a league of his own. He was just awesome. And he was, unfortunately, when he retired, the small man then was really cast aside amongst the giants. Yeah. He was the one who was going amongst the big men and getting placed ahead of him, rightly so. But when he retired, I think the judges saw it as a means that we can't really let the short guys compete against the big monsters. Yeah. And Kevin Levrone always used to say, an in-condition shorter man should always place ahead of an out-of-shape bigger man. And, you know, and for me that should be, you know. I think one of my favourite physiques at the moment on the circuit, though, has got to be James Flex Lewis. I think with a bit more density and depth in his back and across here. But when you look at his silhouette and you look at the way he flows, you look at that and think, that's beautiful.
So you think the 202 or now 212 division is a blessing for the sport then?
I think it's good. I think it's a great idea. I'm just disappointed that the money's shy. The prize money, why should it be any different?
Yeah.
Come on. What, these guys don't train any harder? In fact, they do. They get in shape better than the bigger guys across the board of the whole. So, you know, it's like saying I did that division. No one could match my condition. You know what I mean? And I was pulling my tripe out. Why should we be getting less? You know, I think they could put the prize money. It's not that the money's not available. So I think it's a good move, but I still think they're not being rewarded fairly enough, personally.
Okay, last question, another psychological one. What do you think about the statement, once a bodybuilder, always a bodybuilder, now you've stepped away from the stage?
Yeah, I suppose it's in your blood. So I've seen some people retire and just leave it, you know what I mean, completely change. And I can understand it to a degree. I never used to get my head around it, but I can understand now, having been retired, why some people might want to walk away. For me though, it's in the blood because it's something I do, and I do it because I enjoy training and I enjoy looking a certain way. So, yeah, I mean, I suppose I'll always be. It's as detrimental at times, you know, the way I can look and be the way my life unfolded as a bodybuilder, and you know the highs and the lows. It's an identity that John Hodgson's associated with. So I've got to look at the positives as well. You know what I mean? And you know, I don't regret being who I am. I'm a good person. You know, I'm a man with a big heart. I do care. I've not been perfect, but I know genuinely I can look in the mirror and go, you know, people who truly know me as a really good guy who cares. I care too much sometimes, you know what I mean, and I wear my heart on my sleeve, but I'm not going to change. And yeah, I'll always be a bodybuilder.
Good stuff, man.
Cheers.
To wrap this one up, you know, very similar to Paul Giorgio, someone who I look up to, someone who's basically doing in life exactly what I want to do. So, someone who I, you know, try to emulate and follow. So, thank you very much, John. Are there any products, of course?
Yeah,
branch out?
It's coming out. It's actually going to be hitting the shelves in the next week or two. So, this is all ready to go now. So it's ideal timing, really. So, all I'll say is, you know, those of you who want to bodybuild, just do it because you want to do it. Do it because it's something you enjoy doing, you know, and that's the key. You know, I never did bodybuilding to impress the women or anybody else. It was something I wanted to do for me. It was a passion for me. I think that's the most important thing that you've got to do if you're doing anything like this, is you do it first and foremost because it's, yeah, you know, Mila Sasha said, you never did it to compete for the judges' sake, you did it in the first place to look good for you. And it was true that, so I always remember that.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Thanks, man.
Cheers, guys.
Appreciate it, man. Cheers.
No problem.